Hello, I'm Keith Hilson with the Schmidt Music Trombone Shop, back with another daily practice tip for you. And today I'm going to be talking about tuning thirds in ensemble settings. Now, we've done a couple of other videos talking about intonation tendencies on our instrument. Certain notes, certain partials that are going to be flat, that are going to be sharp. But there are some other intonation challenges that we have to be aware of, especially when we're playing with others. Now, part of this, yes, we're talking about playing in unison. In other words, when we're all playing the same pitch, making sure that we can all play exactly in tune so everything locks in. But there are intonation issues that we need to adjust for in chordal settings as well. What are we talking about here? So, this is, by the way, why having a good basis in music theory is very, very important, because it plays real-world applications in our daily playing, when we're playing with an ensemble, when we're playing with a group. So, as a quick refresher, harmony, our Western common practice harmony, is built off of chords, specifically the root, third, fifth, and sometimes seventh, ninth, and extensions of a particular scale, a particular tonality. Some of these notes, in particular the third note and the seventh note, and some others as well, are not always perfectly in tune depending on what tonality, what mode we are playing in. Pianos, for example, are tuned to equal temperament. That means that the distance between every note is exactly the same. However, in ensembles, in order for everything to sound perfectly in tune, we actually typically use something called just intonation. And what that means is we adjust where some of these notes are played so that the harmonic frequencies, these interference frequencies between the different pitches being played, all line up. When we don't make these adjustments, what we get are a lot of beats, pulses. If you listen to ensemble, you can hear wah, 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 if people are not making these adjustments properly. And again, this can happen when we're playing unison, but it can also happen when we're playing other chord tones as well. And knowing how to adjust to really get these interference beats eliminated so that all of these notes, these frequencies are lining up, is exceptionally important for us. And it can make the difference between an ensemble that just sounds good and an ensemble that sounds great. Of all of the pitches, intervals that we have to adjust for, the most common one is going to be the third. The third tends to be after the root, the foundation of the chord. The third tends to be the most important chord tone because it is what determines whether a chord is major or minor, or helps to determine whether it's diminished or if there's other tonalities going on with it. But in particular, that third plays such a huge role. We're going to run into that interval of a third a lot. And so, knowing what these intonation tendencies are going to be exceptionally helpful. As a rule of thumb, when we have a major third, in other words, when we have a major chord and you're playing the third note of that chord, the third, you typically need to lower that pitch. They say usually somewhere lowering it around 14 cents or so. So I'm going to pull up my handy dandy drone. And I'm in the key of B flat here, so I'm going to play a D. And I'm going to play this D kind of right perfectly down the center of my pitch without making adjustments. It's not bad, but if I move it downward a little bit, trying to really listen in to eliminate any of those little beats, pulses, you can hear a point where it locks in and it gains a richness to the sound. And of course, you can go too far as well. But you can find that sweet spot where, again, it seems like the sound kind of grows, it gains a richness. Now, vice versa, when we are playing a minor third, and so we're playing the third of the chord and it's in a minor key. So in this case, the major third was a D, but our minor is going to be a D flat. Typically, we want to raise that note a little bit. They say usually somewhere around 16 cents or so. So for example, Back to our drone, I'm going to play my D flat right in the center of the pitch. And then I'm going to make that slight adjustment. And again, just like with the major third, it's possible to raise it too high. But again, we're listening for that perfect spot where everything locks in and we gain that same kind of richness to the sound. So again, as a quick refresher, when you are playing in a major key, the third is typically lowered. When you're playing in a minor key, the third is typically raised. Now, how do we practice that? We talked about the numbers. We talked about 14 cents lower, 16 cents higher. Is that really what we want to be doing? Probably not. Really what we want to be doing is using our ears. That's where things like our drones come in handy so much. I will oftentimes when I'm practicing doing my long tones, I will pick a key, a tonality. Okay, today I'm going to work on A flat minor and I'm going to play my long tones, but I'm going to base them around a certain key. A flat minor, for example. And I'm going to play my long tones and I'm going to be thinking about these adjustments I have to make. I'm really going to be using my ears. To train my ears, my embouchure, and my slide, where all of these need to be to play in tune. Another great way to work on our intonation in ensemble settings. For example, playing duets. If you don't have somebody you can play duets with, playing duets with yourself. There's been a lot of great conversations lately of folks who are doing a lot of multi-tracking work. We're seeing stuff all over the place with this. This is an awesome way to work on your intonation, because if you can play in tune with yourself, whether you're playing unison or you're playing these chord tones, well, boy, you're going to be hopefully more likely to be able to do it when you're playing with others as well. So there are other chord tones we can talk about as well, and we'll talk about them down the road, the fifth and the seventh and some other things as well. But tuning these thirds, if you can even just get this under your belt, it can make all of the difference in the world. So I hope this is helpful. So think about including some of this in your daily practicing. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments or shoot an email to me at tromboneshop@schmidtmusic.com. Otherwise, of course, you can find us in a number of different ways. Find us on our social media channels. So I hope you have a great time practicing, and please keep making music.